But I think, Barbara, I mean, for me, I'd love to hear, of course, your experience with Dymo. That's the core of it.
Thank God you've asked.
I love to hear about that. But then I'd really love a few minutes just to hear about more of your story. You've written
Whatever
about it.
you
but
want. That's why
hear
we're
about
here.
it for the audience. So.
Okay.
But how do you use, why don't we talk about Dymo first? I mean,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. What's
Well, I actually became familiar with the Dymo product
Mm.
because I was trying to do a marketing pitch to a lot of real estate brokers across the country.
Okay.
And I had very fancy printed material. And so I first became aware of the company because of one product, which is you're able to print your face on a postage stamp.
Yes, I didn't know, yes.
You know that
Mhm,
one?
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
so I was able to print my face on a postage stamp and convert my very expensive mailer into a postcard,
Gotcha.
which got read and I got a great response on.
And
that
by
was
then,
my
was your
introduction.
company as big as it was, or you were starting out then?
Oh,
What
no.
stage was it?
This is my current company
Okay, okay.
that's only 5 years old, buying these entrepreneur businesses and then
Right.
running them. So I
Okay.
have a central office that runs all of these businesses.
Gotcha,
So I
gotcha.
was using it to promote from that office.
Okay.
But then after that, we were able to get rid of our stupid postage meter. I don't know, forgive me if you love postage meters. We got one machine that
They're
prints
stupid.
everything up. We were able to put our logo on any envelope, any size we wanted. So we suddenly felt empowered
Right.
with our new Dymo system.
Okay, got it, okay. Okay, then do you have other offices as well, or one office? Tell me how, do you?
Our
buy
office right
several,
now
or-
is one office, but what we've been able to do too is promote whatever we believe in to all the entrepreneurs, because they're all small businesses.
Right, right.
Most of them are working out of a home or their first real office.
Okay.
And so they have a need to save time and money, basically,
right, right.
and get the job done fast, and that's why I was promoting it.
Right. And can you talk a little bit about that, though? Because I only know Corcoran, the real estate. I don't know
Oh,
about
my gosh,
what
yes,
else,
yes, yes,
you know,
yeah.
please.
Well, the business I'm
educate
really
us.
in now, since I sold the Corcoran Group,
Okay.
which has already been over 10 years ago, believe it or
Okay,
not,
okay.
seems like it was yesterday, is I'm building other businesses. I'm a partner,
Okay,
either a
okay,
minority or
okay.
majority partner in
Okay.
11 businesses, and so I build those businesses there, of course, all different mediums, all different
Right.
kinds of businesses, but that's what I do day in and day out. And
Okay,
plus,
good.
of course, I do a lot of television work.
Very good. And so now it makes more sense. I understand why it's important. And what are the mailings for? Tell me where that
The
came in.
mailings, what I was doing with that particular mailing, when I
Right.
discovered it, is I was trying to build an association of brokers throughout the states, because
Okay.
being a real estate contributor on the Today Show, I'm constantly asked, who's the right broker in
Right.
Milwaukee? I have no idea. So I was trying to build a group of my favorite brokers, which
Right.
has since certainly happened and
Right,
is very productive. But at the time, I didn't know how to get my envelope open without it looking like junk mail.
Yeah,
I know that
yeah.
sounds ridiculous,
No, I
but
get
once
it.
they saw my face in the postage stamp,
Yeah.
they were flipping it over and reading my message. So it solved the problem, and it also solved it so much more
Right.
cheaply
No, of
than my
course.
expensive
Right.
mailing job.
Do you think, Barbara, that, I mean, there's a lot of focus, and I cover social media up the wazoo, Twitter and all that. That's,
Yes.
you know, tech. But it seems
Well,
like
you're
this
in the
is
right
a-
spot right now.
Yes.
Oh, my
But
gosh, yeah.
hearing what you said, because I just ordered thank you cards. I put my face inside of it.
Oh, good for you.
But it seems
Ooh.
like this, what you're doing, isn't interesting to market without all the social media and electronics we talk about. But this is a simple, I don't know if that's why you did it, but it's a.
Well, let me tell
breaking the
you,
clutter.
I honestly did do these invitations two ways. I think I sent out 3,000 mailings,
Right.
expensive mailings. I sent out 3,000 equal numbers because I didn't know what was going to work. Online, I sent out fabulously clever invitations online. I thought that would be the big hit, and it's a lot cheaper, of course. And you know what I found? I found that I had virtually no response to the online invite, and it was sexy,
Right.
cool. You didn't even have to open it; it opened itself for you. It was really well crafted. So, in the end, isn't it funny that a
Yeah.
little bit of a difference, putting the postage stamp on the postcard, made the difference? I've since now put my brand on envelopes, things, because it's very easy
Right,
to
right.
apply whatever you want. So, in a real way, you design the outside packaging without having to go to someone expensive on the
Right, right.
outside. And I think for a little guy, they don't have the money to do it. That's the
Correct.
truth. They have to think of a cheap, down and dirty way to get it done.
And that works. I mean, I guess it's beyond just putting the labels, but you thought, let me put my face on there to cause
It
them to
got
open
everybody's attention. They were going to flip it over, and because it's comical to see a face, especially if someone feels your face is familiar.
Of course.
What's that? And then, of course, you get your message
That's
through, which is the
interesting.
whole
Okay.
idea.
Okay.
But I would suggest you throw out those Christmas cards or thank you notes, whatever you're doing, and definitely put your face on the outside.
Even my face?
You've got a good
Wow.
face. I'd kiss that face any day.
Wow. Well, no, I'm blushing.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Thank you, Barbara. And I'd love to know a little bit more about, again, the things you've learned over the years. I mean, for example, point one, what are some of the common mistakes you've seen small business owners make? You've succeeded, you've built a business, sold it, you have your own business. Are there common threads? You've talked to many
Well,
entrepreneurs.
remember, I've not only talked to a lot of
Right.
entrepreneurs. I've invested in them,
Yes.
and I've wasted my money on many and have spent my money wisely on others. And you know what I find is a terrible mistake that entrepreneurs make? They start out of the gate, especially if they're looking for angel investing, spending a heck of a lot of time writing a fancy business plan.
Right.
And you want to know something? It's meaningless, because the minute you get out there with your product, that's when you really start to invent your business plan, minute by minute on the job. And so all these fancy projections are useless. And frankly, as an investor, as an angel investor now, we don't pay attention to that anyway. It might sound cool, you're pitching and talking about all this stuff, but the truth of the matter is we're listening to the music. And you know what the music is we're listening to? How passionate is this guy coming out of the gate, and can this guy maintain that passion for the next 5 years and bring it through the finish line? That's all I'm worrying about. That's what I'm listening to. If the product's off, if the projections are off, if the cash flow is going to be a problem, he's going to find, or she's going to find a way, if they have that talent, to get there.
Right.
And that's really all I'm really listening for.
Going to the projections, though, doesn't it seem like many of the angels and VCs ask for that? Again, I'm not, if you see your
Yes.
angel again, it just
Without,
seems like
no,
we're
it's
preached.
it's an exercise.
Okay.
It's an exercise, and they'll challenge you on the projections and say, why is this?
Okay.
How could you get that? Why is this depending on a TV ad? You don't have that in the budget. They'll do all of the above, but let me tell you something. I invest in businesses every day of my life. I know tons of venture capitalists who are doing the same, and you know what they're really doing? It kind of gives them fodder for stuff to
understand.
talk about. What they're really doing is trying to size up the talent of the individual. So maybe, yes, you have to do it for that purpose, but shame on you if you take it seriously. Once you start actually running the business and trying to work the business plan, you're going to be working the wrong stuff. It's like the plan is leading
Right.
versus the circumstance is leading, and that's what makes your business. The circumstance and how you overcome the obstacles, not how well you executed your business plan. It's not realistic.
No, it's like, I guess, Google asking how many tennis balls can you fit inside of a bus?
Yes.
They really have no care what
No,
the
no, no,
answer
they
is.
don't
It's
care.
just,
Right.
they want to see, you know.
But clever.
Yes, okay,
But clever,
interesting.
yeah.
Anything else that comes to mind that you can think of? And if not, if that's the
Having
main
to
thing.
do with
Businesses starting up and trying to launch their
Yes,
business. Then we
I
can
think
talk about
it's-
mature businesses.
I
in a
think
minute.
it's very important to sit down as a business person and analyze where you're spending your time. And I know that sounds so basic, but what I do with each of my entrepreneurs, after I get to know them for the first 3 months, we are immediately sitting down with them, usually twice a month, sometimes only once a month if they're a little bit more organized, and analyzing where they're spending their time. You know what I find? I find when I have them assess their own time and ask the very important question, what of these tasks is directly leading to selling more product or
Right.
getting a new customer? Very little of it does. And so I have them offload whatever they possibly can on the nonsense stuff that makes them feel productive and busy at their computer or at their desk, because it doesn't amount to anything. So I think analyzing where you spend your time, separating the busy work from the meaningful stuff, and getting rid of the busy stuff, like the example of using, the Dynamo Indicia.
Right.
Oh, my God.
You got it.
As quickly as you can, because you
Right.
shouldn't be running to the post office to mail out your packages. It makes no sense. It's cheaper to use a system like that than doing it yourself.
No, I got it. And what about those who are mature and growing? Is there any difference, or should they just keep doing what they're doing, or any tips or thoughts? They have a company, cash flow is great. Maybe they have 5 employees, maybe 10, 20. Anything that you see?
I call
for
that the
mature?
sophomore year, and it doesn't necessarily happen in year 2, but it's
Okay.
the sophomore year. It's like when you finally start to feel like you might have some credibility, you
Mm-hmm.
might have some traction. You know what I find separates the men from the boys, so to speak?
Mm-hmm.
The people who are able to capitalize on whims of circumstances and they make something of it. The person who was nice to them, they said, who do you work for, what do you,
Right,
connecting the dots and following up to see what they could farm out of that relationship. And it doesn't mean hustling someone who doesn't want to be hustled.
Right.
It means making friendships and capitalizing on the business friendships you make. My shrewd entrepreneurs know how to do it like breathing.
Yes.
They're on the hunt all the time. My not so shrewd entrepreneurs are politely collecting business cards. There's a world of difference.
Yeah, no, I go to a lot of networking events, and people often say, "Can I have your card first?" They don't know who I am.
Oh,
from
my
Adam.
God.
I say, "Why do you want my card?" Well, we're networking.
I'm reluctant to hand out my card anymore, because all it is, it's an exercise.
Yes.
It's an exercise without meaning. I'm sure when you connect with someone who feels like they're listening to you,
Yes.
who's really asking about your business, what they're really doing is they're mining you to see how they can take
Right.
advantage of you. That's the shrewd entrepreneur. I'd rather go home with that one business card than 500, because it's a worthwhile business
Right,
card.
right.
It's a contact.
Right. No, that's powerful. I have my notes here, thank you. But I don't know, I don't think you're a technologist, so you're
No,
real
not
estate
at all.
guru.
But I have invested in technology
Right.
companies, yes.
Any thoughts on that? Meaning, again, as a technologist, as I am, I see many
Yes.
companies just buying technology for the sake of it, and I can reverse
I
this and
have
share
to
with you many
say,
tips. What
I
do you-
have to say, on the ABC Shark Tank show, I'm the most reluctant investor in technology because I learned in building technology within the Corcoran Group and spending my largest line item was on technology support development because it was mandated at the time.
Yes.
Because, of course, real estate, the best thing that ever happened to real estate is the internet, as you
Absolutely.
may. And we were early on internet. I was always developing early. But you know what I learned? I learned it is so easy to lose a lot of money quickly. I always used to think my technology guys were like leprechauns. They'd come in the middle of the night, give me some foreign language I didn't quite
right,
understand,
yes.
and then poof, they'd run away with my money. I actually felt, I started looking at them more askance than I did any other player. But in the Shark Tank, the guys love the technology. I'm usually the last one in. On certain technology deals, I take them out faster because I get it, I understand it, because there's a common sense piece. Do you know what's most often I find, and I could be way off because it's your field and not mine, but I find with those technology pitches I hear, often the missing pieces, it doesn't make common
Yes,
sense.
I agree.
But let me tell you, people go for the projections because you know what's implied all the time is you can make a killing. It's like Satan in the apple. You can make a killing.
Right,
And
right,
that makes people get a little reckless because they want those big technology plays. I slow down. I don't speed up. I slow down.
And they want to be the next Google or Facebook. Everybody thinks they can.
Definitely. And you know, I'm sure you could tell me what is the success rate on something like that?
No, they're very
One in what?
unsuccessful.
One in how many of those?
1 in 100 or more? I mean,
Oh, I would
it's
think
not.
that's even better
Yeah.
than I would envision, but that's not a
Right,
big.
right, right.
On my product lines, okay, 2 out of 3 I can make a success out of.
right.
I would rather have 2 out of 3 successes, although smaller, than have 1 in 100 successes after investing a ton of money in 100 technology plays. I'm just not that trusting.
Right. And one more question about technology, then let's talk a little bit about marketing,
Okay.
and I appreciate your time.
Marketing's my thing,
Okay,
more
right.
than technology.
Right. But about technology again, I mean, what about in the office? Again, we talked about Dymo, of course. That's something that clearly you latched onto. It was
Yes.
a technology, but it had an end result.
Yes.
Anything more on that? Do you find that
Yes.
those kind of technologies in the office that you would invest in, not as an investor, but meaning in your own business?
Yes.
You know,
Well, the technology that I always invest the most money in, then building my big company, today building these 11 businesses I work with, are the website. That I understand.
Yes.
And you know why? Because I can clearly see that if the website is terrific, easy to use, a click away, all the good things that a website's supposed to have, great visuals. I do very expensive photo shoots. I really pay attention to the websites because you want to know that's usually the inception of sales for a young business. If that website ain't good, boy, you're not going to do well. Also, we have a double incentive on ABC Shark Tank. When we get an entrepreneur who pitches and relates to the audience at home, we will get 100,000 hits within 3 minutes. That website's got to be ready to take it and not close down. Believe me, I've had more websites closed down. I know this lesson very well. All right. So paying attention to that technology, I'm willing to go to the ends of the earth and spend as much money as it's going to take and hire the best talent because I know it can generate sales. Beyond that, when people start doing line extensions and getting fancy, what if we did this on this website?
Right.
1 year's out the door already, 1 year's listening because I can't really say, how's it going to make me another sale? And that for me is the test with website design, the execution, the spending the money. I want to know, how's it going to make me a sale? How's it going to do it?
and by the way, your website looks phenomenal. I think it looks aesthetically pleasing. It's a
You're
delight.
talking about Corcoran Group,
Barbara,
BarbaraCorcoran.com?
the one which it's colorful. your
Yes,
photo-
yes,
yeah.
yes, I love
It's
color.
beautiful.
Yes,
It
yes,
looks,
thank
looks
you very,
very,
and it works.
yeah.
Very important little detail. It's got to look good, but it's got to work.
Easy to navigate.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it
yeah.
looks good.
Thank you.
Good job. Not that you need that from me, but good
I,
job.
hey, everyone loves a compliment. I'm happy to
looks
take
good.
it. Thank you. Could you say that again?
It looks good. It looks good. Let's talk a last point that I have, Barbara, but I'd
Yes.
love to hear anything else on marketing. I mean,
Yes.
again, I don't have a specific question, but any core tips or insight, and I think one of them we talked about first. You put your face on the Dymo label printer. So, I mean, anything else that you want to share with us about
Well, I
marketing?
always feel the purpose of any good marketing is to get noticed. It's not necessarily to sell the product, but to simply grab attention.
Yeah.
Okay, everything else sells the product. The salesmanship, how you close a deal, what the quality of your product is, your pricing. There's a million pieces to selling the product. But the one thing that's a real pure play is how do you get attention? And I find that in marketing, that's at its best, is how do you get attention? And I believe that most products, if you really think about it, will have a unique selling proposition. And I hate to use that because
No,
it's so
it's- I
old-fashioned,
understand.
but it's very clear. And sometimes the most obvious things are so blind to people that it's mind-boggling. I'm always looking to figure the angle. What's the angle here? So, for example, I think the most startling example was when my two guys that own Pork Barrel Barbecue Sauce were on Shark Tank pitching the brand. I'm like, the last thing I'll do is buy into a barbecue sauce. I don't even like barbecues. Why am I going to buy into a sauce? But who was the very competitive bidder? I was. And what turned me on? Not the sauce. It was delicious, but they all taste good, I guess, if you like that kind of thing. But all of a sudden it hit me that one of the two partners was a dead ringer for a pig. Do you know, when I realized that, what a great marketing advantage it was? And then the other test after, like, wow, will they use it? So when I told Heath, did anyone ever tell you you look like an adorable pig? I was so curious to see his response. Most men would have been enraged. He's a single
Yes,
guy
of
looking for
course.
dates,
Yeah.
all right? And a pig isn't the best animal
I
to
don't
look
think
like,
so.
all right?
Right.
But you want to know something? He at first was taken aback. His partner wasn't. His partner obviously had been thinking it for 2 years and didn't want to tell him. He didn't look like the pig, and he had a wife and kids. But
Right.
this poor single guy had the bad pig face.
Right.
And you know what? He took it like a man standing and said, nobody has. Why? And I said, because if you're willing to use your face to market your brand as the logo, the only guy with a barbecue sauce that looks like a pig, I'm buying in. And that's what made me buy into that firm. And let me tell you, they are great social marketers. They are great salesmen. They're phenomenal on their feet. But you want to know what they also have? A willingness to see what their marketing advantage is and then run it up that flagpole.
Right.
That's obvious. But in many of the other business I've bought into, you don't have the entrepreneur looking like their product. But what you will always have is something unique, or if there's not a unique angle on the product. I just bought into a business of lotions and all kinds of beauty things. Not something I'm comfortable with because I don't use the creams and I should. So
Right.
I'm the worst person to be buying into that. But you want to know? I know the four brothers own it. I love these guys. They are hustlers. But you know what's wrong with their product? Everybody's got the same product. So you know what they're spending the entire week doing? Coming back and telling me what they're going to add to their product to give it a unique handle. Without that, you don't have a chance of selling. You're just another ho-hum product of everybody else out there. So you've always got to, with marketing, develop an angle even if it doesn't exist, because that is your calling card to get the attention. Without the attention, you don't get the sales. Period. You don't get the sales unless you get the attention. I think the marketing play is number one, more important than the quality of the product.
Well, thank you for your time today, and
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
nice
much.
to talk to you.
Same
all, too,
here.
as well.
Sorry to have you go.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you haven't sent me